They talked about, I mean, I think one of the biggest and most interesting moves that they're talking about doing is the idea of appointing a shadow Fed president. For those who haven't heard of that whole concept, in May, right? In May, Powell's term ends, so he's gone. So Trump can't get him a cut because he's a Democrat and he's fighting Trump and he wants to be known as Volcker. So my sense is I lean towards the Fed not doing anything this year, but who knows? Obviously, some breaks are going to do something, but they've got a workaround to that, and they're talking about appointing a Fed president. And there was a time, a new Fed chairman. There was a time when they were saying it might come as rapidly as in the next few weeks. Although the Senate walked that back the other day, said no, it's probably kind of Octoberish time frame. So and obviously they're going to appoint somebody who's extremely favorable to them. And I think what they've decided to do is pivot. I mean, they've kind of come to recognize that growth has to exceed R rates. And even if that's inflationary, they're going to take the inflationary pain to keep things going. I think that's why the stock market's at an all-time new high. And I think that's why I think that they are going to do that. And when the market becomes aware of them doing that, it's going to front run the Fed motion. Although I'm with Mike, I mean, it feels to me like we're carving out a top here in the stock market. There's a very good pod that just came out with Adam Taggart and Michael Oliver. And Michael's a technician who does some really good work. And his momentum indicators suggest that we're kind of carving a long top. And maybe we go on and hit some new highs here. I mean, this kind of reminds me of 99, summer of 99. And things didn't really top until, early March of 20. Or of 2000, and then they really didn't start to fall in a big way until 2001. So, there's a lot of money in this economy, and it's sloshing around. And I mean, one of the things that Doug Nolan does something called Credit Bubble Bulletin. He showed on the most recent Z1 report all the growth in debt. I mean, people are just continuing to take on leverage because they feel like it's all good and leverage is going to pay to own these assets. So I think it's a bad strategy, and I pretty much share Mike's view on most everything except the long bond. I think that's nickels in front of a steamroller. Um, with respect to what Dave said earlier about getting Powell out of there, I don't know. I mean, yeah, they're attacking him politically in a lot of ways, but my sense is he is not going anywhere. He is dumbing printing in order to prevent that because we've seen this pattern over and over again. So Mike, I'm with you, but I think it's timing, right? And I'd be curious to know. I mean, so you buy these long bonds. How long do you think that trade works for?
So that's a good point. So the key thing is I really appreciate your book, and the only problem is we've had that happen. The biggest print in history has happened, and by far, by every measure, 2020, 21, 22, and 2020, 2021. And we had the pump, we had the inflation.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing we found out is what a great way to get rid of a president is have inflation. And what a great way to elect a president is have him endorse cryptocurrencies. Hey, we did that. It's just, I can't wait to write the books about this. Hope I live long enough to write the history and how it's going to work out. The key thing is, no, this is one of those things that this is I'm making a lifetime call here based on the facts of where things are. We just, when I can say that, gold versus crude, gold versus silver, gold, S&P, GDP are at multi-decade extremes and potentially tilting the other way as unemployment's picking up, as credit card delinquencies are picking up, as the housing market's rolling.
Management's extracting salaries. And so, owning Bitcoin in cold storage is still, in my view, the preferred way to play Bitcoin. And there's plenty of upside in doing that. You take a company, as Saylor points out, a company can do things that an individual can't do. It can issue securities, use them to buy Bitcoin. And so what you're really doing is you're introducing Bitcoin leverage, to the bet. And that's okay within reason. I think Saylor's been modest in the way he's done it. I mean, I think his debt is about 15% of the underlying value of his Bitcoin. The Bitcoin could fall in half in price and he'd still be okay. And some of the debt isn't callable and some of it's in the form of preferreds, which I think is kind of brilliant. So my view is that Saylor's actually done a pretty good job of financially engineering, kind of a levered bet on Bitcoin through his company. There've been a lot of people who've jumped into the space and are copying it, doing Me Too's, and I think there'll be a mix of outcomes in terms of how well they do it, how aggressive they are, what kind of debt they take on, how much they pay themselves in salaries, what their multiple of MNAV is, et cetera, et cetera. And my caution to most people. I mean, I think I saw somebody on Twitter said, and this is not a knock on Dylan and MetaPlanet, but I think I saw some young guy on Twitter say, "Well, yeah, I sold him my Bitcoin and bought MetaPlanet." And I thought, well, you're really kind of missing you're kind of missing the thing, that Mike, because it actually is different this time, and let me explain why. This is a commodity.
We'll let the future define that.
No, but let me like a logical.
But you did already. You told us it's going up. I got it.
No, you didn't. You're not listening.
Okay.
Take a minute and listen. Okay. Every single commodity in the world, when the price goes up, the supply increases.
So please don't explain. I wrote about this a decade ago. I got it. Let's not state the obvious. I get it. It's this overweight leverage long now.
So this particular commodity, when the price goes up, the supply doesn't increase. It doesn't behave like.
Again, you're repeating the same thing we've wrote about a decade ago. Let's not say the same. I get it. The problem is it's overweight leverage long now. It's leverage long. It's just a classic example, and there's 17 million of them. That's never happened in any commodity I've ever seen. I look at the precious metals. There's gold, and there's only 3 precious metals. It's silver, platinum, palladium competitors.
It's a different beast, Mike. It's a completely. This is what Wall Street misses. It's a completely different beast. It's different. It's
got it. Exactly. It's different this time. Good luck with that one. That's why
I'm not disagreeing with you that we can't have a 50% correction. I just don't think we're at the overbought, over-leveraged point you think we're at. I think that'll be at 300, 400, 500.
The Republicans implode, or if the Democrats win because the Republicans implode in 2028, don't expect the Democrats to make the mistake of going full on attacking, crypto, the anti-crypto army, because then they won't win. And I think they know that. I think they learned it. So, when you have the U.S. political structure supporting an asset and considering it undervalued, I mean, that's a very big thing. I mean, fighting that is it's like fighting the Fed. It's like you don't want to fight forces that have the power, and that's really what's going on here. And so anyway, we could talk about this forever. This is like the argument clinic from Monty Python. This is not an argument; it's just contradiction. No, an argument is it's like one of my absolute favorite skits in the history of comedy television. And sometimes we get like that. So I agree. Let's just stop.
I'm gonna do it one more time. The big print. What happened to America and how sound money will fix it. We don't get the honor of Larry every week. Thanks, James is coming really back. Of course, you guys go buy it.
Good chat with you guys. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think James will be back next week or the week after. He's been on holiday, but he has not left us. Just for those who keep commenting on that. And that was a spicy ending, but the beauty of this show is it keeps on going, and we get to see what happens. So we'll all be there to find out. Thank you, gentlemen, Larry especially for
like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Support the channel by liking this video, subscribing, and enabling post notifications for more content on crypto and digital assets. Check out our other videos and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your engagement helps with the YouTube algorithm and keeps the content coming. Thanks for your support. Enjoy the video.